Welcome everyone to the Massachusetts LGBT Chamber of Commerce's webinar today on how to create your pitch deck. This is, of course, in preparation for our second pitch competition. We're really excited to be bringing this back. We have Manassah Bradley here with us today, expert in the field. It's always so amazing to work with you, Manassah, and to see your brain working in business development. It's always such a treat. So thank you for being here today. I am going to share some information about the pitch competition. I have notes. So if I'm looking down, that's why I have not memorized everything. Pitch competition, really exciting. The first pitch deck is due October 25th. You should submit your pitch deck via Google form. I sent that out to everybody in an email. I will be sending it out again so that everybody has the link. The judges, Manassah is one of them, and we have a few others who will look at the pitch decks and decide who's going to advance to the second round, which is going to be a Zoom live pitch. So the first one is just the pitch deck. You're just going to submit that. Which is why we're here today, so you can learn how to do that. The second pitch is going to be a live Zoom pitch on November 17th from 5 to 7. So the folks who advance from the first round are going to join us in that format and present their pitch decks. They'll have 3 minutes to present, 2 minutes to answer questions. And then the folks who advance from that round are going to pitch in person at our conference on December 8th. So we're really excited to be doing this again. First prize is $5,000, second place is $3,000, third is $2,000. So we hope that you all find today's webinar helpful in creating your pitch decks. And without further ado, I will pass it to Manassah. Manassah, thank you again for being here today.
Thank you all for being here. Please feel free to pop questions in the chat, raise your hand, interrupt me. I want to give you all as much information as I can. So the best way to get the information that you want is to ask questions. So I won't be flustered if you interrupt me. So let's go. All right. So what I want to talk to you today is about a pitch deck. I'm going to go over a sort of generic pitch deck that you can use not only here in this competition, but you can use when you're going to either a bank or you're looking for a seed funding, going to angel investors or venture capital. Or even just getting money from what we call the 4 Fs, which are friends, families, founders, and fools. It's kind of a joke, but the idea is for you to really sort of be thinking about what you're presenting, how you present it, and what you're really looking to do, evoke a response from the listener. And you really want to tell a good story, a clear story that's easy to repeat. So if I am listening to your pitch, the entire time, I should be listening to your story and nodding my head saying, yes, 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 yes. And at the very end, you say, Manassah, I need $5,000. And I go, absolutely. You basically prime the pump, so to speak, for me to say yes. So as you're telling your story about what you're going to do, how you're going to get there, how much capital resources that you need, I'm in my head thinking, can they do this? Can they pull this off? So think about the story you're telling, and my response should be throughout the story, the arc of the story from beginning, middle, and end. The response that you should be getting from me is yes, yes, yes. And then when you actually ask me for money, I'm going to say yes, or I might even say no, because it's not the right fit for me as an investor, but it might be a right fit for Thaís or Gabby, who invest in other types of companies that I might not be invested in. So you want to be able to tell a story that I can repeat, because I might say, you know what, this isn't the right fit for me, but this is the right fit for Thaís. So I'm now going to turn around, and if it's a memorable story, I can repeat that story and tell Thaís and get Thaís excited in it. And then Thaís will make the connection, and then you get the funding that you need. So in terms of a PowerPoint presentation, or what we call a pitch deck, it's no more than 10 slides and no more than 10-minute time limit. It should be really short, direct, to the point, but memorable. The PowerPoint deck or the pitch deck is not your presentation. It should only have minimal words on it, actually like graphics, and it should just touch the high points, because when you're giving your pitch deck presentation, what you want people to do is listen to you and see notations behind you that are the highlights of the story you're telling. You don't want a pitch deck to be so wordy or so graphic intensive that people are looking at the graphics and not listening to you, or they're reading the slides, not listening to you. The goal of the pitch is to have people listen to your story, believe in who you are, believe in you as the CEO of your company, believe that you can pull this off, and get them to say yes. A lot of people spend a ton of time making the presentation the central focus of their pitch, and the central focus of the pitch is always you. I've seen this happen where people have created these beautiful pitch decks, stunning, and then the electricity goes out. You still have to give your pitch. So the central focus should always be on you and your pitch, and your story that you tell, the repeatable story, should be effective with or without the pitch deck. So think of the pitch deck as a supplement to your pitch presentation. So tell a good story, clear, easy to repeat story, position your company as a perfect fit for me or Thaís or Gabby, whoever you're pitching. So when you're thinking about pitching to the chamber, look at the parameters of the chamber, I don't want to say contest, competition, and make sure that your presentation and your pitch fits the instruction, the parameters of the pitch competition. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk through sort of a pitch deck, and it's very, very minimal, but it's going to have the high points, and feel free to stop me at any time. So I'm going to try to share my screen and use technology. So you guys seen this?
Perfect.
All right, so I can get it to change now. So are you looking at the introduction? Or what are you seeing on your screen? Because I'm still seeing the venture capital slideshow presentation.
Yep, that's what we're looking at. No more than 10 slides, maximum 10-minute time limit.
All right, there we go. All right. So the introduction. First thing you want to do is tell me who you are, tell me what you do, and tell me what you want from me. Is it money, guidance, the connection? This is sort of counterintuitive, but a lot of people will wait to the very end to ask for what they want. As someone who's done thousands of these, I want you to tell me right away who you are, what you do very quickly. My name is Manassah Bradley. I am a business coach with the Massachusetts LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce, and I need connections from you. When you do that right at the very beginning, you're telling the audience what you want, and you've now got them thinking, okay, they want money, they want guidance, they want connection. If you need $5 million, tell me you need $5 million right up front. Because in my head, I might say, okay, $5 million is too much for me, but I know Thaís has that kind of money. Or I know Gabby has that kind of money. So now I'm thinking, you've got me thinking about how I can help you. Because everybody, when you do these competitions or you're presenting these pitches, everybody wants to help you. And if they can help you, they want to know who they can connect you with. So I always like when you say the introduction is tell me who you are, what you do, and what you want from me. This way, I am now thinking about how I can help you. Second thing is funding requirements. Tell me how much money you need, what you need it for, when you need it, and tell me if you anticipate future rounds of financing. This is really key. As you're telling me your story, I'm thinking, who is this entrepreneur? Who is the leader of this ship? Can he, she, or they really pull this off? Now, I know that when you're presenting this pitch, that a lot of this is sort of best guesses, kind of made up. You don't really know, we don't really know what's going to happen in the future, but what I'm looking for are Do they have critical thinking skills? Have they anticipated what's going to happen up front? So you should be able to say, you know, my name is Manassah Bradley. I need $5 million. I need $25,000. I need whatever it is, right? I need $25,000. That's going to get me from point A to point B. Once I hit point B, I'm going to need another 1.2 million. So if you can sort of lay out your roadmap for me, say, this is what I need right now. I need $25,000 for proof of concept. Once we have proof of concept, then we have to build out our platform. The online learning tool, I'm making this up. The online learning tool is going to take, you know, cost us $300,000 to build out with salaries and talent. So what I'm looking for is critical thinking skills. Are you anticipating what you're going to need ahead of time? So even though this is like a simple sort of introduction, in literally you only have 10 minutes to do this, you've got to show me that you know how much you need right now today and how far that's going to take you. All right, the next thing, the problem to be solved. What I'm looking for is the problem you are solving or the market opportunity you want to capitalize on. I want you to tell me how big the problem or the opportunity is and tell me about your solution or value proposition. And this is critical from the customer's perspective, because once you go into business for yourself, it's no longer about you, it's all about the customer. So I want you to be presenting me insight, wisdom from the customer's perspective. So you might say, you know, in, I don't know, the LGBTQ marketplace, there is a shortage of X. I know this because I'm of the community. There are no solutions, so here's my solution. And there are 10 million, you know, members of the community that could benefit from this solution. So really what I'm looking for is what I call need, want, and demand. Think about transportation. For me to get to work, I need transportation of some sort. I can walk, I can ride my bike, I can take the bus, I can drive a car. So I need transportation. What I really want is a Mercedes-Benz G-Class. That's what I want. It also costs $250,000 for Mercedes-Benz G-Class, just an outrageous amount of money. So what I need is transportation. What I want is a Mercedes-Benz G-Class. But what I can actually demand and what I can actually pay for is something completely different. What I'm gonna buy is the Manassah CX-5, because that's what I can afford. It's up to you to understand need, want, and demand. And you only can do this by really understanding who your customer is. And this is where a lot of doing what we call primary and secondary research is helpful for you to understand what your client's needs are, what the want is, and what they're actually going to pay for. Because that's the critical piece, what people are going to pay for. So if you can demonstrate to me that you have identified a problem that you're trying to solve or market opportunity that is big enough for me to invest my money in, and that you have a solution, a value proposition from the customer perspective is something that they'll actually buy, that's critical. And the tough thing is to do this in like 30 seconds or less, because you've got all this information. Now, when you're doing this, the goal is not to tell me everything all at once. It's just enough for me to say, oh, I get this problem, or I understand this market opportunity. It's a really big problem, and they have a really cool value proposition. It may not be totally fleshed out yet, but I think they're onto something, and they've demonstrated that they have customers that are willing to pay for this. That's enough for me to start asking you questions, because at the end of the presentation, you want me to say, Thaís, can you go back to slide 3 and talk to me more about the value proposition? What you want to do is use this presentation as a way to engage your audience, evoke a response, and get me to start asking you questions. Because once I start asking you questions, at the end, that's when you can go into sort of a deeper dive and give me all the nitty gritty that I'm asking for. Because the ultimate goal of this, or any presentation, is to get people to agree with you, make those connections, get the money for you, win the competition. Sound good? All right. I'm going the wrong way. So the market opportunity. So in terms of market, what I'm really looking for is for you to tell me about the structure and characteristics of the market. So it could be very simple, or it could be something very complicated with a supply chain where products are made in China, they're shipped over here, then they're put on rails. Like, it could be very complicated, but what I really want to understand is a deeper dive on the opportunity, the customers, and specifically the demands, and once again, the trends. Because the trends in the marketplace will show me that, one, you really understand the marketplace, but even better than that is you understand where the market's going, and you're going to position yourself for success. So Wayne Gretzky was a top-notch hockey player back in the day, and he would always say, as a hockey player, I would never skate to where the puck was. I would always skate to where the puck was going to be. And that's how he was really successful. So what I need you to do is show me that you're positioning your company for where the puck is going to be, where the opportunity is going to be, and that you have a cool idea or a thoughtful idea on how you're going to capitalize on that demand. Questions? This good? Going the wrong way again. All right, so then market strategy. So for a brand new company, I need to know how you're going to go, they call it go to market. Like, how are you going to sell your products? So nobody knows who you are. The question is, how are you going to create awareness about your product? How are you going to bring it into the consumer's hands? How are they going to buy from you? So it could be one of many things. It could just be direct to consumer. You sell it at a farmer's market. It's pretty simple. It could be that you're selling through a wholesaler who then sells it to a retailer who then sells it to the customer. You may be creating strategic partnerships. So whatever it is that you're doing, I want you to tell me how you are bringing this product to market, so gaining awareness all the way through the sale. And once again, I'm not looking for it to be completely flushed out, because whenever we're new to a market, we're still trying to understand the market, and we're still trying to figure out what's the best way to go to market. But what I really want to do is for you to convey to me that you have a solid understanding of the market and a solid approach. And I know that once you actually start doing it, it's probably going to morph, because when you're looking at something from the outside, or even if you're inside, you might think that it's going to work one way, but then as you sort of get into it, you're thinking like, well, you know what? It's not working the way I wanted to, but what I'm really looking for at this juncture is a well thought out plan, fully knowing that this may morph, and it's okay if you morph it. But once again, it's the critical thinking skills that I'm looking for. And I'm looking to make sure that you really understand the market and have a plan to take it from 0 to 100 as quickly as possible. Competitive advantage and risks. What I'm really looking for, once again, as a small business owner, we don't have all the information that we need to have. And that's okay. But what I'm really looking for is, do you have a market niche? Do you have a unique technology? Is there a secret sauce? Like, what's going to make you successful against all of your competitors? So really, you should be thinking about, just like a point of reference, if you say to me or anyone, I don't have any competitors, that's an automatic cancel, you're done. Like, we all have competitors. Even if they're not direct competitors, we have indirect competitors. So you should always be thinking about, who are my competitors? And if you ever say that I don't have any, that's an automatic, you're done. You won't get funding, because everybody has competitors. So what we're really looking for is, from my perspective, if I'm going to invest in your business, or I'm going to give you money, what I'm looking for is, how easy is it for somebody else to come in right behind you who's better funded to outcompete you? So I'm thinking, okay, I could give Thaís, $50,000, but she doesn't have a, secret sauce. There's no barriers to entry. It's just easy. Anybody could just get in and start this up behind you. And then Gabby comes along and she just follows what Thaís does. And then next thing you know, Thaís is out of business and Gabby's making, gobs of money. So looking for is, do you have a secret sauce that can't be duplicated? Are there barriers to entry? What are the important risks? Do you know what the risks are? And what are the key success factors? So these are sort of things that, once again, you may not have it all flushed out, but what I'm looking for, the critical thinking, have you thought them through? And it's okay in your presentation to say, here's my market niche, here's this unique technology, here's our secret sauce, but one of the risks are that there's a new technology that is coming out that could leapfrog us. And I'll be like, okay, I get the risks. What I'm really looking for is, do you understand the risks? Have you thought it through? And it's your job to convey to me that you understand what the risks are and the key success factors. So thinking about it from a competitive advantage, how can you outcompete everybody else that's doing the same thing that you're doing? And even if you're the first one out of the gate, think about the people that are going to be coming behind you, because once someone says, oh, Gabby's got this really great product and she's got this cool service, I'm going to do the same thing. How do you beat the competitors coming up behind you? Because you will have competitors. Anytime you're successful, you'll have competitors. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, before I invest in this individual, do they understand the competition? Do they have they put up sort of roadblocks, obstacles behind them to prevent other competitors from coming in and overtaking them? Sound good? Technology. So if you have technology and you may not have technology, it could be a food-based business, that's fine. Is it proprietary? Is it patented? Is it state-of-the-art? What will the future technology changes be? So I'm now working with a lot of companies in the blockchain technology world. And there's a lot of stuff going on. It's state-of-the-art technology, and this technology is going to change. And we're betting on some companies right now that are using a platform. So in the blockchain world, there's all different types of platforms, and we're betting on these companies starting. I won't say the platform name, but on this one platform. And the risk to us is that it's not patented, and it may not be the dominant technology in the future. But that's the risk we know. So we're taking that risk. But you should know from the founder standpoint, once again, I'm thinking, okay, before I bet on this, as they always say, like, you never bet on the horse, you bet on the jockey in, horse racing. So as the jockey, is your technology proprietary? Have you patented your technology? Like, once again, it's have you created roadblocks for competitors that are coming up behind you? Will make it more difficult for them to overtake you. Manufacturing production. So if you're manufacturing, you're producing a product, will you manufacture in-house or will you outsource? Thinking about what happened with COVID and supply chain issues. So a lot of people getting stuff manufactured, they outsourced to China, which is fine. But then when COVID hit and there were shutdowns in sort of the shipping ports over in LA or in California, like literally there were hundreds and hundreds of ships sitting offshore. They couldn't be unloaded. So that's a supply chain disruption. So if you think about if you have a seasonal product, like say, I don't know, skis, and you have to get it into the ski shops by August, they can sell them September, October for people to be using them, in the winter months. If your skis don't arrive 6 months later, you're in trouble. So I look at this and say, okay, so where you're manufacturing, does it make sense to manufacture in-house, or does it makes sense to outsource it. So you should really have an explanation as to why you're manufacturing in-house or outsourcing. And in my head, when you're telling me this story, I'm going to think, oh, that makes sense. Or that doesn't make sense, or I'm going to come back and ask about that. But as long as you've mentioned it, if you're manufacturing a product, then you should really understand the manufacturing process. And really, what I want to know is why you picked to manufacture in-house or outsourcing, because once again, that'll tell me or give me insight as to how you're thinking about how you're going to go to market and compete and win and create a profitable company. So manufacturing, what are your current and future capital requirements? Will you face regulatory, environmental, compliance issues? Like, these are all things that you should be thinking about and mention in your presentation. Now, if you have regulatory, environmental, compliance issues, you don't have to go through all of that in your presentation. You might even just say, hey, in this industry or this product that we're manufacturing, it's highly regulated. There's a lot of environmental compliance issues that you think about. If you have questions about that, I can answer them after the presentation. But for right now, we're just going to mention that they're highly regulated, and we'll talk about that later. So it's okay to sort of not spend time on things that may not help you get funding, because there's always opportunities afterwards to answer questions and provide deeper insight. Financials. All right. This is like, you have to know your numbers. A lot of people are freaked out by the numbers and the financials. And like, I'll be honest with you, I'm a pretty smart guy, but when it comes to like math, like I remember like in not elementary school, but like middle school and high school, they would have you figure out the volume of a cone going on a train from point A to point B while the other train was going the other way. I could never do those, I could never do those math questions. It always like freaked me out. But when it came to the financials, I was like, whoa, this is gonna, like, how am I gonna do this? Until someone explained to me, they said, listen, it's just basic math. It's addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and some percentages. And that's all the math you need to know for your financials. So when you're thinking about the math, don't think about it as being like math heavy, because the math itself is really not. What's heavy and we have to think about are the rules. It's kind of like sorting laundry. You have to know what the rules are. And once you learn the rules, it's really, really simple. But you should be able to project out for the next 1, 3, and 5 years what your revenue is going to be in terms of sales. So thinking about your sales, you have to understand your market. You have to understand who your customers are, how you're going to sell to them, how much they will buy. So all of the stuff that we talked about prior to this will all come out in the numbers. So what are your revenue projections for the next 5 years? What are your gross margins? So after you sort of, you sell the product, you have your cost of goods sold, and then you have your gross margins, and then you sort of take out all the other expenses. Once again, I can help you with that. It's pretty simple. It seems daunting, but it's not. And from a presentation standpoint, you have to know your numbers cold. If you're wishy-washy about the numbers, it's not going to bode well for you. So I would sit down, and there's a lot of resources. We here at the Chamber can help you. The Mass Small Business Development Center, they have an office out in Clark University in the Worcester area. And they'll actually create the financials for you, and they'll walk you through the financials and teach you how to use the financials to make decisions and present a solid case for why you should be getting investments. But you should be thinking about your gross margins. If I'm giving you money, I'm assuming that I want something in back, like my returns. So it could be that I get my return either through debt, meaning you're going to pay me, I'm going to loan you the money and you pay me back on a schedule with interest. So I want to make sure that you have positive cash flow and you have enough cash flow to pay me back. Or I get equity, meaning that I'm going to give you money, I own a piece of your company, and I get my return when we sell the company. So the question is, so when do you plan on exiting? Because when you exit the business, sell the business, that's when the investors get their payout. And you may never want that, but the idea is that you should be able to tell me at day one, we have 0 customers, we have X numbers of cash in the bank. This is how we're going to spend our money, because you're going to be spending money. It's called your burn rate. You're going to be burning through cash until you start getting customers in. And with financials, you can show me how much money you're burning through, and also the every day, week, month, you should be increasing your sales and revenue from sales. So this is what we want. We want to make sure that you understand your financials and how you're going to create either a break even and ideally a profitable business. Now, if you have a business that is going to lose money at the very beginning, you know that, you would say at the very beginning, I need $50,000. It's going to take me to point A. We won't be profitable at point A, but once we get to that point, we'll have a proof of concept, and then we're going to need another extra chunk of money, which will take us from to the next stage where we can become profitable. And a lot of companies now that you see out there today, like the Ubers of the world, they're actually not profitable. They're burning through money. And at some point they will become profitable. So it's okay if you're not, but you just have to know your numbers and be able to explain to us. Really what I'm looking for is how much money is coming into your business, how much money is going out of your business, when is the money coming out, when is the money coming in, so the timing of it. So it's how much money is coming in and out of your business, the timing of that money, and also where's that money coming and going from. This is really what I'm looking for. And really and I know this, that these numbers are not going to be real. They're going to be best guesses. But if you have sort of like, here's our best case, here's our worst case, and here's what's probably going to happen, like 3 different sets of financials that you can draw upon, that'd be ideal. Knowing full well that we know that these numbers aren't going to be, the minute you start your business, the numbers will change. But at least we get to see how, once again, how critically how you're thinking about the business critically. I just lost it, sorry. All right, anyway, the last piece of it is the management team. So who are you? What have you done before? Are there any gaps in the team? And convince me that you can pull this off. That's really what I'm looking for. Yeah, so this is the most critical piece, is sort of the team, because when I had mentioned earlier, there's going to be the horse and the jockey. I'm really looking at you and saying, okay, who's in front of me? Who am I giving this money to? Have they done this before? Have they have experience? What's their background like? Can they really pull this off? Because think about this. As an investor, I'm looking at all different types of businesses, and I'm looking for what's the right business for me right now at this time, and who is most likely to pull this off. So you could have what we rank the teams by, like A, B, C, D, and E. You could have an A idea and a B team or a C team, and it's not going to get launched because the C team can't pull this off. But you could have a B idea. It's not the best idea, but you have an A team. And I'll be like, okay, so this is an A team with a B idea. We'll invest in them because we think they can pull this off. Does that make sense? So that in a nutshell is for me, all I have. So now I would love to get some questions. What are you guys looking at? Are you looking at my screen, or is it gone?
We are looking at your screen. If you want to stop sharing, we'll go back to just our faces.
I don't know how to do that.
That is a lovely photo, though.
Thanks. I don't see the share screen anymore.
Oh, that's weird. I don't know if Gabby, as the boss of the boss of all things, can fix it. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, folks, please pop them into the Q&A box or in chat, and we will read them out and answer them. I Thank you so much, Manasseh. It's always so informative to hear you talking about this. And as you all know, I think I would just say that you should, as you create your pitch deck, particularly the pitch deck that you hope to present with, time yourself doing the presentation, practice it a lot so that you have it really down and you know exactly how long it's going to take you, because a lot of the spaces where you're going to pitch your business are going to have time limits. And so just make sure that for each place where you're pitching, you know what that time limit is and that you're practicing so that you can stay within the allotted time effectively and still share the information that you need to share. You can, chat's disabled, I guess, but you can just pop the questions into Q&A if you have them. So if you're not selling a product, but a service, is your presentation the same?
Yes, you were just talking about the service that you're providing. So if it's not a product, then you wouldn't talk about manufacturing or supply chain issues, but you would sort of tell me why this service is required or why is it necessary. So yes, but you would still have, the financials would be the same. So if you have, when you're looking at financials, you wouldn't have cost of goods sold, which is fine, but you would still have, you should be able to show me how much money is coming into the business, how much money is coming out, where's it coming from, how are you getting your startup capital? It could be from you, family, friends, founders. How are you spending that money until you get your first customers? Yeah, it's still the same. You just wouldn't have the, the production and distribution portion of it.
All right. Any other questions, folks? And Gabby, master of all Zoom things, has figured out how to turn on chat. So
don't know why it defaulted to off for this.
Why does Zoom do anything? It is not known to me. You are welcome. I'm so glad this was helpful. I really hope to see your pitches, your pitch decks in the pitch decks that we're going to go through for the first round. And we still have a couple of minutes. So if you have any other questions, feel free to pop them into Q&A or chat and we will answer them. But I'm really glad this was helpful.
Like another piece of advice is just be yourself, because as investors, we're looking for companies to invest in. And we're really looking for people that fit us. So we're always looking to find cool people to invest in, because if we invest in your business, we're going to be doing a lot of work together, so yeah, that's the other thing you should be thinking about too, is like, be yourself and be natural, because that's when your true self, if you're sort of faking it, you won't come off as authentic. And when you're giving a presentation, I want to invest in people who are authentic and real and genuine. So the only way you can be that is if you be yourself. And I think a lot of people sort of get in presentation mode, like they're doing a TED Talk. And I find that sort of to be, okay, let's get rid of the TED Talk stuff and just be yourself, because I'm myself when I give these presentations, and I find it's easier to connect with people when you're just yourself and you're just genuine and authentic, and people are more apt to listen to you, listen to your story. And you really want people to connect with who you are and connect with your story and connect with your passion about starting the business that you're in, whatever business. If the business could be pickles, or like the guy that won last year, he was doing like cider, right? No, vinegar.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I don't have any, I literally was like, I don't have any interest in vinegar at all. By the end of his presentation, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go out and buy his vinegar. And it's actually really good. So by him just being genuine, he got me excited about something I wasn't excited about. I didn't know that we needed, high-end vinegars. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who knew? But because he was himself and he presented himself just genuinely a nice guy, who understood his market, who was going after a niche product, and he really understood who his competitors were, how he had to his go-to-market strategy, how to get it on shelves, like all that stuff. I was like, oh, this guy, this is like, I'm not into vinegar, but I believe in this guy's story, and I believe in him, and I think I think he should win. So that's what you should be going for. It's just being genuinely, just be yourself.
Quick note and update. I was just there maybe 2 weeks ago at the new Vinegar Works in Worcester. He moved from Lowell to Worcester, and it's amazing. And he's so passionate about vinegar that you go into the conversation and you leave wanting to make vinegar. It's really amazing. Yeah, Rodrigo's doing great, and the Vinegar Works is fantastic. So
cool.
All right. Well, Manassah, thank you so much. Thank you for this time. Thank you for your expertise. Thank you for sharing with everyone. And I look forward to seeing you soon as one of the judges in the pitch competition. And again, I hope everyone has a chance to think about this and submit their pitch decks for the first round. Thank you again.
I'm just one of the pitch coaches, so I'm not a bad guy. I'm not dangerous. I'm pretty chill. So when you come to do your pitch, just come and we'll have fun together.
Can confirm. I've been working with Manassah for a while. So thank you all for being here today, and we will see you next time.